Captain Nora Hawthorne stared through the viewport of her patrol ship Stellar Horizon, watching the debris field spread out before her like a metallic graveyard. The wreckage of what appeared to be a research vessel drifted silently in the void, its hull torn apart by weapons fire. After 15 years patrolling the outer reaches of human space, she thought she'd seen everything. She was wrong. "Captain," picking up an anomalous reading, Lieutenant Marcus Drake reported from his sensor station. "It's biological. Something's alive out there." Nora leaned forward, her weathered features illuminated by the soft blue glow of the holographic displays. "Show me." The main screen shifted, highlighting a small shape tumbling slowly among the debris. It wasn't human, the proportions were wrong, and the skin seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly bioluminescence even through the static-filled image. "Life signs are erratic," Marcus continued, his dark fingers dancing across the controls. "Whatever it is, it's dying." Nora made her decision instantly. "Prep the rescue pod. I'm going out." "Captain," her XO, James Chen, stepped forward. "Regulations state dash." "Regulations can wait," Nora cut him off, already heading for the airlock. "We've got maybe minutes before that being dies. I'm not letting first contact end with us watching an intelligent species suffocate in space." The rescue was tricky. The alien's body was wrapped in what looked like the remains of a stasis field, probably the only thing that had kept it alive this long. As Nora maneuvered her pod closer, she could see more details. The being was humanoid but distinctly alien, with silvery white skin that pulsed with subtle patterns of light. Its features were delicate, almost crystalline in appearance. The moment Nora's pod secured the alien and began pressurization, its eyes snapped open. They were completely black except for pinpricks of white light that seemed to move like stars. The alien's mouth moved, and impossibly, Nora heard words in her mind. "Help me. Bind our lives, and I will give you the stars." The alien's hand pressed against the pod's window, leaving a glowing handprint that slowly faded. Nora felt a strange tingling sensation spread through her body, like static electricity but deeper, reaching into her very cells. "Medical team to rescue Bay immediately," Nora commanded through her comm, "and someone get Dr. Patel up here. Tell him it's first contact, and our new friend is dying." As they rushed back to the stellar horizon, Nora couldn't shake the feeling that something fundamental had changed. The tingling sensation remained, and she could have sworn she felt emotions that weren't her own: desperation, fear, and underneath it all, a grim determination. Dr. Patel was waiting in the rescue bay, his usually calm demeanor shaken by excitement. "Captain, this is unprecedented. The biological readings were getting dash." "Save the science for later, Doctor," Nora ordered. "Keep them alive first." The alien was quickly transferred to their medical bay, where strange readings immediately began setting off alarms. Its silvery skin was now almost transparent, the internal bioluminescence failing. "Captain," Dr. Patel called out, his voice urgent. "The alien's cellular structure is breaking down. It's like their very atoms are coming apart." Nora stepped closer to the medical bed, and immediately the alien's lights pulsed stronger. The being's strange eyes fixed on her. "The bond, accept it, or I die," the words formed in her mind again. "Your biology, compatible, perfect match." "What bond? What are you talking about?" Nora demanded, but she already knew. That tingling sensation, the foreign emotions, something had started when she rescued them. "Symbiosis," the alien managed. "My kind, share life force. Need connection, or death." The monitors were screaming now as the alien's readings crashed. Without conscious thought, Nora reached out and grabbed their hand. The effect was immediate and overwhelming. Energy surged between them, and Nora gasped as foreign memories and sensations flooded her mind. She saw vast crystal cities floating in space, felt the joy of soaring through stellar winds on wings of pure energy, experienced the terror of betrayal and pursuit. The alien, Zithra, she suddenly knew their name, was a scientist who had discovered something that threatened the very foundation of their society. When the connection stabilized, Nora found herself on her knees, still gripping Zithra's hand. The alien's skin had regained its silvery sheen, now pulsing with steady waves of light. Dr. Patel was frantically recording readings while security officers had their weapons half-raised, unsure what to make of the situation. "Captain," James Chen's voice came from the doorway, tense with concern. "3 ships just dropped out of FTL. Unknown configuration, but their weapons are hot. They're hailing us." Nora looked at Zithra, whose star-filled eyes held both gratitude and warning. Whatever she'd just gotten herself and her crew involved in, there would be no going back. "I hope you're worth it," she muttered, rising to her feet. To her surprise, she felt Zithra's answer not in words but in emotions, determination, loyalty, and a promise that would reshape humanity's understanding of the universe. "Tell our visitors we'll be happy to talk," Nora commanded, straightening her uniform. "After they explain why they destroyed a research vessel in human space." The pursuing vessels loomed on the stellar horizon's main view screen, their crystalline hulls refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. Nora stood on her bridge, acutely aware of the alien sensations flowing through her mind. Zithra's consciousness brushed against hers, sharing fragments of tactical knowledge about their pursuers. "They're crystalline enforcement vessels," Nora announced, the information flowing naturally from their shared bond. "Heavily armed, but their reactor design makes them vulnerable near their aft sections." Lieutenant Drake shot her a startled look. "Captain, how could you possibly know that?" Before she could answer, the lead vessel's transmission cut through their communications. A harsh, melodic voice filled the bridge. "Human vessel, you harbor a fugitive of the crystalline Concordat. Surrender the specimen immediately, or we will be forced to take aggressive action." Nora felt Zithra's fear spike through their connection, accompanied by fierce determination. Images flashed through her mind, secret laboratories, horrific experiments, an entire species enslaved through carefully controlled biological bonds. "This is Captain Nora Hawthorne," she responded, her voice steady. "You've destroyed a vessel in human space and fired upon a potentially sentient being. Until we receive a formal explanation and verification of your authority, we cannot comply with your demands." The alien commander's response was immediate. "Your protection of this specimen demonstrates contamination. Preparing to fire. Evasive maneuvers." Nora ordered, just as Zithra's voice echoed in her mind. "The neural bridge, we can use it." Energy beams lanced out from the crystalline ships, but the stellar horizon was already moving. Nora felt an odd doubling of her senses as Zithra's consciousness merged more deeply with her own. Suddenly, she could perceive energy flows, gravitational fields, and spatial distortions with incredible clarity. "Hard to port, then full thrust on my mark," she commanded, her heightened awareness allowing her to predict the enemy's firing patterns. The ship responded perfectly, weaving through the deadly barrage. Dr. Patel's voice came urgently through the calm, "Captain, your neural patterns are showing unprecedented synchronization with our guest. The energy exchange between you is increasing exponentially." Nora barely heard him. Through their deepening connection, Zithra was sharing more than just tactical data. She saw the truth of the crystalline Concordat, a civilization built on carefully controlled symbiotic bonds, using them to create a rigid hierarchy of control. Zithra had discovered that these bonds could be formed freely, that their species had been manipulated and lied to for generations. "They're charging something big," Marcus reported, his hands flying over the tactical console. "Energy readings are off the charts." "Let me help," Zithra communicated. "Together, we can access your ship's systems in ways your technology never imagined." Nora hesitated for a split second, then made her decision. "Do it." The sensation was extraordinary. Through their neural bridge, Nora felt her consciousness expand into the stellar horizon systems. The ship became an extension of her body, every circuit and conduit humming with new potential. Zithra's crystalline energy patterns merged with the ship's power grid, creating completely new configurations. "Captain." James Chin shouted in alarm. The ship's systems are reconfiguring themselves. Power readings are impossible. The pursuing vessels released their charged weapon, a massive beam of crystalline energy that should have torn the stellar horizon apart. Instead, Nora Zithra ship moved as one. The human vessel's hull briefly shimmered with crystalline patterns as it absorbed the energy, channeling it through newly formed pathways. Impossible, the enemy commander's voice crackled. The specimen has corrupted their technology. Destroy them before dash. Return to sender, Nora whispered, her eyes glowing with the same starlight pattern as Zithra's. The absorbed energy burst forth from the stellar horizon's modified systems, splitting into precise beams that disabled the pursuing vessel's engines without destroying them. The neural merger began to fade, leaving Nora gasping and gripping her captain's chair for support. The bridge crew stared at her in a mixture of awe and concern. Through their now stabilized bond, she could feel Zithra's satisfaction and exhaustion. Plot a course out of here, maximum speed, she ordered, her voice hoarse. And someone help me to medical. I need to have a long talk with our guest about what just happened. In the medical bay, Zithra sat up as Nora entered, their silvery skin pulsing with complex patterns. Your ship, they spoke aloud for the first time, their voice carrying harmonics that seemed to resonate with the air itself. It adapted far better than I hoped. Your technology, like your biology, holds incredible potential. You turned my ship into some kind of crystal tech hybrid, Nora stated, sitting heavily on the adjacent bed. Without asking permission. I showed you how to do it, Zithra corrected. The neural bridge allowed you to see the possibilities. You chose to implement them. Dr. Patel hovered nearby, scanning them both with growing excitement. The synchronization between your neural patterns is remarkable. And the changes to the ship's systems, we're seeing crystalline growth in the power conduits, but it's perfectly integrated with our technology. This could revolutionize everything we know about Dash. Doctor, Nora cut him off. Give us a moment. Once they were alone, she fixed Zithra with a stern look. You promised me the stars. Instead, you've made us fugitives from your people and done something to both me and my ship that I don't fully understand. Zithra's expression became solemn, their star-filled eyes seeming to peer into Nora's soul. What I promised was truth. Your species possesses something mine lost long ago, freedom. The ability to form bonds by choice, to adapt and grow naturally. What you saw today is only the beginning. The beginning of what? A revolution, Zithra replied, their skin brightening with conviction. One that will free my people and open up possibilities neither of our species ever imagined. The question is, Captain Hawthorne, are you ready to see just how far this neural bridge can take us? Nora felt the weight of the moment, even as new information and possibilities flowed through their connection. Whatever she decided now would affect not just her crew, but potentially the future of human-alien relations. The smart choice would be to turn back, hand Zithra over, return to her normal patrol duties. Instead, she smiled. Show me. The stellar horizon sliced through the darkness of an uncharted nebula, its hybrid systems humming with crystalline energy. In the ship's newly transformed observation deck, Nora watched streams of data flow through the crystalline growths that had integrated with the walls. The neural bridge with Zithra had changed more than just the ship's technology, it had changed her perception of reality itself. 3 more Concordat battle groups have entered this sector, Lieutenant Drake reported through the comm, they're using some kind of quantum tracking system to follow our crystal signature. Nora felt Zithra's consciousness stir with concern. The alien scientist moved to stand beside her, their silvery form reflecting the nebula's cosmic lights. They're using the quantum resonance network, Zithra explained, both aloud and through their bond. Every crystalline being's unique signature is tracked and monitored. It's how they maintain control. Can they track our neural bridge? Nora asked, watching as the crystalline displays showed the enemy vessel's movements. Not exactly, Zithra's skin pulsed with thoughtful patterns. What we share is different. Natural. They're detecting the changes to your ship's systems, but the bridge itself is invisible to them. That's what terrifies them most. A sudden alarm blared through the ship. Captain. James Chen's voice was urgent. Multiple quantum signatures appearing directly ahead. Through their shared consciousness, Nora felt Zithra's spike of recognition and fear. Images flashed between them, massive crystalline constructs, living weapons bred for hunting, minds bound and twisted into eternal servitude. Quantum hunters, they said in unison. The space before them seemed to shatter as three enormous vessels materialized. They were unlike the previous pursuers. These ships were partially organic, their crystalline structures flowing like liquid metal, studded with pulsing nodes of dark energy. Each was easily 3 times the size of the stellar horizon. All hands, battle stations, Nora commanded, already moving toward the bridge. Through their bond, she felt Zithra's tactical knowledge merging with her own combat experience. Lieutenant Drake, prepare the modified torpedo tubes. Time to test our new hybrid weapons. The quantum hunters struck first, launching waves of crystalline fighters that moved with impossible precision. These weren't normal pilots, Nora realized through Zithra's shared knowledge. They were bound minds, consciousness trapped in crystalline matrices, forced to serve as living weapons. Evasive pattern delta, Nora ordered, even as she reached for the neural bridge's full potential. James, target their control nodes with the hybrid torpedoes. If we can disrupt their quantum signature. Wait. Zithra's thought cut through her mind. Those pilots, I might be able to reach them through our connection. Show them the truth about free bonds. The stellar horizon shuddered under the first wave of attacks. Crystal energy weapons carved glowing gashes across their hull, but the hybrid systems adapted, absorbing and redistributing the force. Nora had seconds to make a decision. Do it, she commanded. Everyone else, defensive positions only. Buy us time. Nora felt the neural bridge expand as Zithra channeled their shared energy outward. The crystalline growths throughout the ship pulsed with increasing intensity, broadcasting on frequencies she could feel but not quite understand. Through their connection, she sensed Zithra reaching out to the bound pilots, showing them memories of free symbiosis, of natural bonds formed by choice. The effect was immediate and devastating. The first wave of fighters broke formation, their pilots' imprisoned minds awakening to possibilities they'd never imagined. Chaos erupted as the quantum hunters tried to reassert control, but the damage was done. Ship after ship broke away, their crystalline structures resonating with newfound freedom. They're charging their main weapons. Marcus shouted from tactical. Now, James. Nora commanded. Hit their control nodes. The hybrid torpedoes launched, their crystalline warheads glowing with combined human and alien technology. They struck with surgical precision, shattering the quantum links that bound the great ships to the Concordat's control network. The hunters' crystalline hulls cracked, dark energy spilling into space as their bound systems failed. But victory came with a price. The energy expenditure of broadcasting through the neural bridge had taken its toll. Nora felt Zithra's consciousness flicker, their shared connection growing dangerously unstable. Medical team to the bridge, she called out, catching Zithra as they collapsed. Stay with me. We're not done yet. Through their fading connection, Zithra shared one final image, a massive space station hidden in the heart of Concordat space, where the original symbiotic bonds were twisted into tools of control. The source node, where it all began. That's what you discovered, Nora whispered, understanding flooding through her. Not just how to free the bonds, but where to strike to free everyone. Zithra's star-filled eyes fixed on hers. The source node holds the quantum templates for all forced bonds. Destroy it. And the entire system of control collapses, Nora finished. She looked up at her crew, seeing the same determination in their eyes that she felt in her heart. Plot a course to the coordinates in my mind. We're going to need help, those freed pilots out there would be a good start. Dr. Patel arrived with his medical team, immediately beginning treatment on Zithra. "Captain," he said gravely, "the neural bridge is consuming too much energy. If you continue like this, we'll find a way." Nora cut him off, feeling the bond between her and Zithra stabilize as the medical team worked. "We've come too far to stop now." Through the viewport, the freed crystalline fighters took up escort positions around the stellar horizon. Their pilots, minds newly awakened to freedom, reached out with tentative quantum signals of their own. The revolution had begun, and humanity's first major role in galactic politics would be helping to break chains they never knew existed. James Chen looked up from his console, a rare smile on his face. "Captain, you'll want to see this." The freed pilots, they're broadcasting their story to every quantum frequency. The entire Concordat is about to learn the truth about free bonds. "Good," Nora replied, helping Zithra to stand as their strength returned. "Let them come. We'll show them what real symbiosis looks like." Deep within Concordat space, the stellar horizon moved silently through a field of quantum distortions, its crystalline modifications allowing it to slip past the enemy's detection grid. The fleet of freed fighters followed in their wake, each vessel's crystal structure pulsing in harmony with their liberated pilot's consciousness. In the ship's transformed medical bay, Nora watched Dr. Patel examine the neural bridge's effects on her cellular structure. The crystalline growths that had begun integrating with the ship were now appearing within her own body, threading through her nervous system in delicate lattices. "Fascinating," Dr. Patel murmured, examining the results. "Your DNA is actually incorporating crystalline patterns at a quantum level. It's like your entire cellular structure is evolving." "Is it dangerous?" Nora asked, though she already knew the answer through her connection with Zithra. The alien scientist lay on the adjacent bed, their silvery skin dimmer than usual as they recovered from their last battle. "Not dangerous," Zithra spoke, their voice carrying harmonics that made the crystal formations in the room resonate. "It's what my people were meant to be, true symbiotes, capable of forming natural bonds that enhance both species. The Concordat perverted this ability, turned it into a tool of enslavement." Through their shared consciousness, Nora felt the truth of these words. But there was something else, a deeper revelation Zithra had been holding back. "Show me," she commanded gently. The neural bridge flared to life, and Nora gasped as ancient memories flooded her mind. She saw the original encounter between humans and crystalline beings, thousands of years ago on Earth. Hidden in humanity's oldest myths and legends were stories of beings from the stars who could merge their essence with humans, granting incredible abilities and insights. The Concordat didn't just enslave your people, Nora realized, the pieces falling into place. They erased your history. Humanity wasn't meant to be just another species you encountered. We were your original partners. Zithra's star-filled eyes met hers. "Now you understand why they hunt us so desperately. Human DNA contains markers from those ancient bonds. Your species remembers, on a cellular level, what true symbiosis feels like. That's why you adapt so easily to the neural bridge, why your ship accepted the crystalline modifications so readily." The medical bay's monitors suddenly flashed red. Lieutenant Drake's voice came through the comm, "Captain. Multiple quantum signatures detected. They've found us." Nora rushed to the bridge, Zithra following close behind. The main viewscreen showed dozens of Concordat warships emerging from quantum space, led by a massive crystalline structure that dwarfed even the quantum hunters. "The Archon's personal vessel," Zithra explained, their skin pulsing with anxiety. "The leader of the Concordat, and the one who maintains the forced bonds through the source node." The massive ship's crystal facade shifted, revealing weapon ports that pulsed with dark energy. A transmission cut through all frequencies, carried on both standard communications and quantum resonance. "Abomination," a voice like shattering crystal addressed Zithra. "You dare corrupt these humans as you corrupted our perfect system? Show them the truth of their primitive nature." Through their bond, Nora felt Zithra's surge of anger. "The only corruption is what you did to our people, Archon. You twisted our natural abilities into chains, forced us to forget our true history. Their bodies carry the echo of ancient mistakes, the Archon replied. Mistakes I spent millennia correcting. Humanity was deemed too unpredictable, too chaotic for proper symbiosis. Their influence would have destroyed our perfect order. Nora stepped forward, her own anger mixing with Zithra's through the neural bridge. You mean we wouldn't be easily controlled? That's what this is really about, isn't it? Humanity's potential for free will terrified you. The Archon's ship pulsed with dark energy. You understand nothing. Witness the power of true control. A quantum pulse swept through space, striking the freed crystalline fighters. Their pilots screamed across all frequencies as the Archon attempted to reassert control through the source node's power. But something unexpected happened. The neural bridge between Nora and Zithra flared to unprecedented levels, their combined consciousness reaching out to protect the freed pilots. The crystalline modifications throughout the stellar horizon resonated with pure energy, creating a counter-frequency that shielded their allies. Impossible, the Archon's voice shook with rage. No natural bond should be capable of resisting the source node's power. You forgot what natural bonds can really do, Nora replied, feeling her connection with Zithra grow stronger as their ship's hybrid systems channeled their combined energy. You forgot that true symbiosis isn't about control, it's about choice, about growing stronger together. Through their expanded consciousness, Nora and Zithra touched the minds of every freed pilot in their fleet. They shared not just tactical data, but the truth about humanity's connection to their species, the potential that had been hidden for millennia. The freed pilots' ships began to change, their crystalline structures evolving as they embraced true symbiosis. The stellar horizon itself seemed to pulse with new life, human technology and crystalline biology merging in ways that defied the Archon's rigid understanding of order. The source node is powering up, Marcus reported from Tactical. Energy readings are off the charts. Nora felt Zithra's determination match her own. The next few moments would determine not just their fate, but the future of both their species. The final battle for freedom was about to begin, and this time, humanity would remember its role in the story. All ships, battle formation, Nora commanded, her voice carrying across both standard and quantum frequencies. Let's remind the Concordat why they feared free will in the first place. The void between stars erupted into crystalline fire as the stellar horizon led its fleet of freed fighters against the Archon's armada. The source node loomed behind the Concordat forces, its massive structure pulsing with dark quantum energy that threatened to reimpose control on every crystalline being in the sector. On the stellar horizon's bridge, Nora and Zithra stood united, their neural bridge radiating power that made the ship's hybrid systems sing with possibility. Through their combined consciousness, they coordinated the freed pilots in perfect synchronization, each vessel moving like parts of a single organism. The Archon's ship is channeling energy directly from the source node, Lieutenant Drake reported, his hands dancing across crystal-enhanced controls. They're trying to overpower our quantum shielding. The enemy fleet unleashed a barrage that would have annihilated any normal human vessel. But the stellar horizon was far from normal now. Its crystalline modifications responded to Nora and Zithra's shared will, transforming the hostile energy into pure potential. Now they'll see what true symbiosis can do, Nora declared, feeling Zithra's agreement pulse through their bond. All ships, execute pattern genesis. Their fleet moved as one, executing maneuvers that should have been impossible. The freed pilots, their crystalline ships now partially merged with their consciousness, demonstrated what happened when control was replaced with willing cooperation. Where the Concordat's forces moved with rigid precision, the freed fleet flowed like liquid light, adapting and evolving with every exchange. The Archon's voice boomed across all frequencies, "You corrupt everything you touch, human. Your chaos infects the perfect order we created." Perfect order. Zithra responded, their voice harmonizing with Nora's. You created stagnation. Look at what your precious control has cost us. Through the neural bridge, they broadcast the truth to every crystalline being in range, images of the original human crystalline partnerships, the incredible achievements they'd accomplished together, and the magnificent civilization that had been lost when the Archon imposed their system of forced bonds. The source node is at 200% capacity, James Chen warned. If they overload it, they'll burn out every crystalline being's ability to form bonds, Zithra finished. They'd rather destroy our species' true nature than lose control. Nora felt it then, a plan forming in their shared consciousness. Dangerous, possibly suicidal, but with the potential to end this forever. The node converts free will into controlled energy, she said slowly. But what happens if we give it more free will than it can handle? Understanding flowed through their bond. Zithra's star-filled eyes widened. A quantum feedback loop. But the amount of free energy required. We have an entire fleet of free beings, Nora pointed out. Plus whatever humanity brings to the equation. The Archon fears human unpredictability. Let's show them why. The plan flowed through their neural bridge to every freed pilot. It was more than strategy, it was an offering of trust, asking each being to contribute their newly rediscovered free will to one massive surge of quantum potential. You'll destroy everything, the Archon raged as they realized what was happening. The node cannot handle raw, uncontrolled power. Exactly, Nora and Zithra spoke as one. The stellar horizon charged forward, its hybrid systems channeling the combined energy of hundreds of freed minds. Every human crew member added their consciousness to the surge, their inherited crystalline markers awakening after millennia of dormancy. The ship itself seemed to evolve as it moved, its structure becoming something entirely new, neither human nor crystalline, but a perfect synthesis of both. The source node's defenses couldn't target them. How could they? The vessel approaching them wasn't just a ship anymore. It was the physical manifestation of everything the Concordat had tried to prevent, proof that chaos and order could coexist in beautiful harmony. All bonds, Nora commanded, her voice carrying the weight of two species' potential, release. Pure, uncontrolled quantum energy, the very essence of free will, burst forth from the stellar horizon and its allied fleet. The source node tried to process it, to convert this raw potential into controlled power. But there was too much freedom, too much possibility, too much humanity in the surge. The node's crystal matrix began to fracture, dark energy replacing with pure light as centuries of controlled bonds shattered. Throughout Concordat space, crystalline beings felt their chains dissolving, replaced by the potential for choice. The Archon's great ship cracked like ice in spring, its rigid structure unable to adapt to the sudden influx of freedom. But rather than destroy them, Nora and Zithra reached out through the quantum frequencies. Choose, they offered. For the first time in millennia, choose for yourself. The battle ended not with destruction, but with transformation. The source node, that great engine of control, reformed into a nexus of free quantum energy, available to any who wished to form willing bonds. The Archon's forces, confronted with choice, largely surrendered, their crystalline structures already beginning to evolve into more natural configurations. In the aftermath, as the stellar horizon drifted in space surrounded by its freed allies, Nora turned to Zithra. The neural bridge between them hummed with possibilities. What happens now, she asked, though their shared consciousness already held the answer. Zithra's form shimmered with renewed purpose. Now we rebuild. Not the Concordat's vision of perfect order, but something new. A civilization where humans and crystalline beings can once again form willing partnerships, where technology and biology can merge naturally, where evolution isn't locked but flows freely. Through their bond, Nora saw the future unfolding, human ships incorporating crystalline technology, crystalline beings learning from humanity's creativity and determination, new forms of art and science emerging from willing symbiosis. The stars themselves seemed brighter, as though reflecting the potential of two species reunited. The Concordat feared humanity's chaos would destroy their perfect system, Nora mused, watching crystal formations dance across her ship's hull. They never understood that chaos was exactly what we all needed. Freedom is messy, Zithra agreed, their star-filled eyes twinkling. But in that mess, we find the most beautiful possibilities. As if in response, the stellar horizon's hybrid systems pulsed with new configurations, adapting and growing. Just like the bond between its captain and her crystalline partner, it had become something unprecedented, proof that the most powerful forces in the universe weren't control and order, but choice and trust. Humanity had not just found its place among the stars. It had helped an ancient partner remember how to shine.